It was April 30th, 1945. Berlin lay in ruins, a city carved apart by relentless artillery and fire. The air was thick with smoke, the streets littered with the remnants of a world that had fallen to chaos. Deep beneath the city, in a dimly lit bunker, Adolf Hitler sat alone with the weight of his empire collapsing around him. Outside, the distant rumble of advancing Soviet tanks was a grim reminder that the war he had unleashed was finally closing in. Inside those cold concrete walls, time seemed to move differently. Every second stretched into a slow, suffocating eternity. Hitler's inner circle had begun to unravel. Generals and confidants whispered behind closed doors, plotting escape, surrender, or simply surviving the storm. And yet, in this claustrophobic darkness, Hitler clung to his vision, a twisted mirror of the world he had tried to command. Eyewitnesses recall a man transformed. Once a figure of commanding presence, now he was a shadow. Fragile, paranoid, obsessed with betrayal. He dictated his last will, attempting to control what little remained of his legacy, while outside, the city was being swallowed by a tide of soldiers and civilians desperate for survival. In these final hours, the veneer of invincibility crumbled, revealing a human being, fearful, isolated, and facing the inescapable reality of his actions. And yet, there were moments of almost surreal normalcy. Hitler's secretary, Traudl Junge, described him speaking calmly, almost politely, discussing mundane matters amid catastrophe. There was tea, cigarettes, and the eerie banality of routine as the world outside burned. It was as if he were trying to impose order, one last time, on a reality that no longer obeyed him. Then came the final act. At the very heart of the bunker, Hitler and Eva Braun, his companion of only days, chose death over capture. In that confined space, far from the eyes of history, life and ideology collided with inevitability. The man who had reshaped the world through terror and propaganda ended his existence quietly, methodically, in a room designed for survival, but now witness to finality. When the Allies entered the city days later, they found traces, fragments, and accounts of the man behind the myth. Historians have since pieced together the human side of this notorious figure. Not just the architect of unspeakable horrors, but a man who, in the end, confronted the consequences of his own design. His last hours are a mirror, not of triumph, but of collapse. A stark reminder that history spares no one, not even those who sought to bend it to their will. As the sun rose over a battered Berlin, the bunker stood silent, echoing with the absence of a man who had once commanded millions. The world moved on, but the shadow of those final hours lingers, a haunting testament to the fragility of power, the weight of human choice, and the cost of unchecked ambition.